What is up, my Transformers family? Welcome back to another episode of George Reviews. I am the 80s Transformers fan, and today the 80s Transformers fan will be taking a look at another 1985 Generation 1 Transformer. It is Deluxe Insecticon Decepticon Chop Shop. He is our second Deluxe Insecticon on our countdown. He falls in at number 9. So let's get this guy checked off the list. Here is our 1985 catalog. And I've made a mess of this thing. And here is Chop Shop at number 9. He is officially checked off. And as always, I kick off these reviews with a little bit of knowledge of the history of the toy in case you were unaware. The original figure from Chop Shop came from a toy company called Takatu Toys, which was eventually acquired by Bandai. And this acquisition is the reason why you never saw this figure on the cartoon, and the reason why you've never seen this figure reissued. They have an updated version of this figure, and most updated versions of the Deluxe Insecticons are repaints of the updated Insecticons. For instance, they once released Shrapnel, and then they recolored Shrapnel into the brown and orange colors you see before you and released it as Chop Shop. Hasbro and Takara Transformers owns the rights to the name Chop Shop, and I guess somewhat of the likeness, but this actual toy mold is now owned by Bandai. But when Takatu Toys originally released this figure, he came in a black and gray deco. Here it is right here. And, you know, I love variants, but there is no actual variant of this guy in the Generation 1 toy line, you know, like regional releases. Only thing you can get this guy in a Milton Bradley box that was released in Europe. And if you know anything about Transformers, vintage Transformers in a Milton Bradley box go for a ton more money than the standard Generation 1 box releases. Same figure, just different box made different regionally. I think maybe the stamping is different. I never had hands on it, so I don't know. So anyway, Hasbro got this figure and could not put it in the cartoon because Bandai acquired the company from Takatu Toys, and they were competitors with Takara, so he was able to be released in parts of Europe and the United States, but they never got this color deco in Japan or in that region. And also, I never had this guy as a child. I didn't like what I saw in the box and the packaging, and then pretty much I didn't see him on the cartoon, so I kind of never cared for these figures. And I saw him all the time in my local store and just passed over. I would have friends like, man, you got enough allowance to buy that. They'd be excited for me to buy it. Why don't you buy that one? I'm like, nah, I'm just going to pass on that. So that's my little Transformers story and a little history of this figure to go along with it. So let's get straight to it. Let's check out Chop Shop's bio. I do not have the box and I do not have his instruction booklet at all, but I have the complete pieces, the staff and the gun for this figure. So I'm going to read his bio from the book as I do not have the text back. Chop Shop, Deluxe Insecticons, function, thief, motto, I take no prisoners, just spare parts. Sneakiest of all Insecticons. If it's not bolted to the floor, it's not safe from his greedy grasp. No challenge is too great. The more difficult something is to steal, the more he wants to steal it. As Insect flies 30 miles with 2 small jets on his back. Pincer-like antenna can slice through 2-inch thick steel. Has twin pinpoint lasers on his mouth. Can carry 30 tons. As robot has photon cannon. No mention of his staff or sword. Now to his technical readout. Strength, 7. Intelligence, 8. Speed, 4. Endurance, 5. Rank, 6. Courage, 7. Firepower, 6. And his skill is a 10. Chop Shop's alternate mode is a stag beetle. His weapons are a vibro spear and a photon cannon. What a vibro spear is, I don't know, but we will take a look. Okay, everybody, let's bring Chop Shop closer and take a look at his stag beetle mode. He's mostly brown plastic with some orange plastic and no paint apps, except for the beetle eyes right here. These are the beetle eyes. All these Deluxe Insecticons have the same red eye paint, and it comes off a little bit different depending on where it's painted or what part it's painted over, but Same red eye paint. Now, this not being my vintage toy and the fact that I didn't own it as a kid, I'm not sure how many stickers are missing, but I believe there are a lot of stickers missing off of this guy. And this rub sign right here, if you look back at the portion where he's on the turntable, it was perfect. And when I was picking it up, I kind of tilted up some right here, but still works. This is the rub sign that reveals him being a Decepticon right there, an authentic Transformer. Turning him over, like no stickers to show. Really can't see it. I mean, you know that's his insect head, but you really can't see it right there. Everything's hidden away pretty well. You can see his pincers right here. They move a little bit in this mode, but not a lot. I guess they do what they need to do. They can grab somebody or something smaller. And you can tell by this guy coming from the Takatu Toys toy line, Bandai toy line. Unlike the standard Insecticons from the Diaclone toy line, you can tell this guy was never meant to be in disguise as a Beetle. He's a giant vehicle, and these jets off the back indicate that, sort of like Power Rangers or Beetleborgs. You know, he was a giant vehicle, and a little pilot would get into him and ready and launch, sort of like every other Japanese toy line cartoon connection ever. And again, these are like just dead giveaways. He's never in disguise. So, but in this mode, we have a little bit of paint right here, some white paint right here, and original Decepticon logo sticking right there, and nothing else. A little bit of stamping, just some numbers right there. You see the screws on the underside. These legs articulate they 360, and it's actually a ball joint right there, but nothing at the center of the legs. Both these do the same thing. They move in and out for what that's worth. And this hind leg right here has pretty much the most articulation, come forward and back because it tucks away during transformation. He has like the little, what are these supposed to be, like hair fibers molded in, and then the little Insecticon feet, insect feet right there. Same articulation on both sides. And yeah, this is his Stag Beetle mode. And this is, if I remember my bug beetle anatomy, this is his thorax right here. This part is die cast. You can see some paint chipping right here. So they did include die-cast in all of their figures. Now to get this guy transformed, it's kind of simple, a little bit clever. We are going to, let's see, open these flaps up. They want to open up anyway. They don't lock. Kind of move these legs out of the way. Unhinge this part here. Rotate these down. We're going to bring the feet up. They sort of kind of lock right there. And then we're going to come around, take these insect feet. They fold away to the inside, which is clever. And there's kind of a little slot right there. They go in and completely get these out of the way. Now, this part bugs me. Or I've never figured it out. But these don't lock in at all. They just sort of hang out right here. Now you have this cleverness in here, and then like you couldn't have this panel out and have these legs sort of like snap in or lock in. And I'm not pressing it hard because I do not want to break it. And already transforming are the arms. They kind of pop out. They were in here. They come out. Then the hand automorphs right there. Pull them down just a little bit. Hand comes out. And while you're doing that, we get a face reveal. We move these to the side. And in this mode, it seems like this thing would come out. See how it's like a separate piece on a ball? It seems like it would rotate or something so you can better position these or whatever, but you cannot. And they kind of, I guess this is sort of kind of it. And man, so I'll talk about these arms in a second. Let's take a look at his face. This is Chop Chop's face, and this is something clever going on. He has like the brown plastic head or helmet. Then he has a separate red plastic part inside there, which I did not expect. I figured they just would have hit it with paint, but that's a separate red plastic creating his eyes, then orange antennas, and then the orange mouthpiece. Very interesting, very cool head in my opinion. And then we see the same paint apps from his Beetle mode, and again this is the die cast part. Yeah, same part, just you can see exposed a little bit more of his chest and his waist area. And he has some good proportions, some good definition. You clearly see his waist, clearly see his chest. These are sort of like pecs now. His arms to the side, his legs, and his feet. He has a good looking robot mode. But where it fails is the same place that all Generation 1 Transformers fail, and it's in articulation. Let's start with his head. There is nothing going on here. These things move for what that's worth, and then they move his shoulder so he can, I don't know, I don't know, I don't know. So that is all it does. His hands, we got a good sculpted arm and some nice sculpted hands. You can see the thumb right there, but the arms only go up and down. Nothing comes forward. They could have gave this guy elbow bend or something. He has the nerve to have two weapons, which we will get to. But when you come to his waist, his leg can kick up this far, which is a lot for a Generation 1 Transformer. And swinging it back, he can come all the way back this far, and he can get the 80s Transformers fan wee jumping, and we can get him to bend at the knee, which is a lot. And you know what? We have toe articulation as well. Bam, ba bam, ba bam, bam. But let's get his weapons out here. Okay, this is Chop Shop's Photon Cannon, nicely molded, sculpted gun right there. It's from the same brown plastic that he is. Right there, it has a space for his trigger finger right there. Now let's get it in his hand. Bam, fits snugly in his hand. Next up is his Vibro Sword. And it's pretty cool sculpted. You know, it's not really big. It has like some ridges in the middle right here. It has like 3 blades on it. Looks like he can really do some damage. And let's get it in his left hand. And it's kind of loose in his left hand. But you really don't have to worry about it falling out, because this guy cannot, I mean, he's got to shoot like this. He's got to fly like doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo. And this guy isn't slicing anything. Like what the heck? Like, you thought of this brilliant toy, because it's brilliant on a lot of levels. The sculpt is nice, the weapons are nice, but it's like they didn't even bother, even in Japan, even in the mid 80s. I mean, someone had to be like, let's give him an arm articulation. He could have had the arm slot down a little bit more and rotate up so he can fire this. I guess this guy can like just shoot somebody in the leg or the foot over there, like bah. Oh! It's time to give our Generation 1 Chop Shop the size up and the rundown. Here's Transformers Legend Series Shrapnel, Generation 1 Shrapnel, Mail-Away Autobot Downshift, fellow Bandai Roll Buster, Masterpiece Collection Sideswipe. Representing all 6 Seacons is Piranacon. Here's something a little bit more modern from Star Wars The Black Series Tusken Raider. Last size comparison from G.I. Joe Classified Series is Crocmaster. Yeah, that's pretty much all I got for this video. Not a whole lot going on here. Definitely not a lot of articulation. But I can tell you, even though he didn't appear in the cartoon, Chop Shop appeared in the Marvel original 80s comic. He appeared in the reimagination of G1, the Regeneration 1 comic. He appeared in the Dreamwave comic continuity. He also showed up in the Transformers My Little Pony crossover, which is, I don't know. He was also featured in the Battle of the Stargate, and in 2005 he showed up in IDW Comics. So he was also seen in more places than the original Generation 1 toy line. And so that brings me to our buying tips for this figure. You want to buy it complete whenever you can. You want as many stickers as intact as possible. If you have a choice of a selection of these guys, and you kind of want to go to a toy show so you can buy them in person. And secondly, in the legs, these insect legs are often broken off, and you can see why. They kind of hang off the body and they articulate on this little ball joint right here. So you want to watch out for that when you're buying this guy. Okay, my final thoughts on this figure. I like it, and if I had it as a kid, I probably would have liked it as a kid. I would have been bummed out that the arms don't come up. Even a guy like Sunstreaker, who was like, the arms were like frozen at the shoulder, they bent at the elbow and you can point forward or whatever. They really should have added that. But he's a good toy. His only other failing is these panels on the back of his legs keep coming forward. You know, he can't bend his arms and the panels keep coming forward. He definitely would not have been one of my favorites. Cool insect mode, cool looking face in a robot mode. Just standing there, he looks great. He looks menacing, he looks cool. His insect mode gets a 7.5 out of 10. His robot mode, I mean, this is at a 6, and I'm being generous with that. If the elbows just bent forward, he would have been fantastic. So I think that's all that fits in this review. I want to let everybody know that you are more than welcome to subscribe to 80s Transformer Fan and George Reviews. And you can give a thumbs up if you like this video. And don't forget to hit the bell notification because it helps out the channel and it's greatly appreciated. And that's all I have for you guys. Until the next one, I want to thank you all for watching another episode of George Reviews. The reviews for every toy has a story.